Hi, if you have a Garmin camera, whether that's an Elite, a Virb X or an XE, you'll be familiar with this software, Virb Edit. Virb Edit is the free Garmin application that you get for importing your video and the geometrics data. Now when you bring a video in and you first have a look at it, and you've got geometrics in there with it, you'll come across the default template such as this. Now that default template is not necessarily the one that you want to use. More than likely it won't be. It'll have things that you want on it, things that you don't want, and also they tend to be a bit ropey in terms of the way it's laid out. Now the alternative of doing that is by going into creating a video and using your own custom template. The problem I found with this is that the custom templates have two issues. One, because they're dragging and dropping the widgets, the little gauges and graphs, that you tend to it's hit and miss getting them lined up and everything, and it takes time. The other thing is whether other people have had the same issue. Mine tend to disappear between clips, so it becomes a real pain. So I thought, how can we actually edit the default template, and where is that default template? So I had a little look around, and I found within the Garmin directory this. Now we're looking in the program files, Garmin, and you want to look under Virb Edit, and then you look down here and you get a directory called templates. Click in there to go into it, and you'll see this template here which is called _default_1_r.vet. If you double click on that, it opens this up. Now this is basically the default template that Garmin's using when you first bring anything else. I'll not go through all the bits and pieces on this. I'll leave that for another time, for a couple of minutes. But basically it's just a text file that you can edit. So we'll just close that now. To change the file around, what I've done is I've already created a double one, so all I'm going to do is just rename the existing one, which I'll just put 3 zeros there, change that, and then I'll just change to get rid of the 2 zeros that I've got on the one that I created earlier. Again, we go back into Virb, and now if we look at that same clip again, we'll see that it differs substantially. So on this clip I still got the basis because I quite like that template style that it is, but I've added a couple of other things such as cadence, heart rate. I've added an elevation map here at the bottom, and I've also added the compass at the top. So how do we do that? Well, by going back into here and opening it up again, here is the information, the data that the template uses to set everything up. So the general stuff here is what category it fits into. The thumbnail path is simply to show in thumbnails, when you look at the templates within Edit, what it's going to look like essentially. And then you have these color data here, this color data in RGB format, just to say what level it what colors, so you can alter the colors for each of the different bits within the file, or within the widgets I should say. Now each widget is what they're called, whether it's a graph, whether it's a chart, it's called a widget. Is a block of sort of fairly easy code really that you can look at. Start with a curly bracket, end with a curly bracket, and if there's another block after it, it has a comma. Now each one of these has a file name going to one of these VEG files. Now the VEG files, again, they're simply text files that reside under here, widgets. So if you double click on widgets, this is a whole list of all the ones that are available to you, and again you can just click on those. Simple text file, you can mess about with them. I haven't done that yet, but you can do if you're feeling brave. Now in here we have the name of it. So what is it referring to? Now in this case it's referring to the Garmin logo, which the initial one was at the top left hand side. I didn't want to take it out because I might put it back in later, so all I've done is just append a BB, just so it can't reference anything. But if you look at the other ones here, we've got file name heart rate.veg, so I can show my heart rate, and the value type. Now this is basically to show what appends to the end of it. So if it's heart rate, it would be BPM. If you had speed in there, it would say MPH or KPH, depending on what you're using. So just make sure that they're relative. Then we have these other options here, which are coordinates, which are X and X coordinate and your Y coordinate there. So X is simply left to right, Y top to bottom, and the two coordinates that you have here are min and max. Max means from the right hand side of the screen, min is from the left, and the Y coordinate, min is the top, max is the bottom. Again, you could do it in different ways. In this one, all I have is, so it's going to the right hand side of the screen and then coming in 200 pixels. Similarly, it's going down to the bottom of the screen and coming up 650. You can do it whichever way you want. So these are the files, these are the widgets within each file that I've got in there. Again, you can mix and match whatever it is, as long as you have the format right. So if you go into another file that you like, another template file, you can actually just cut and paste, which is possibly one of the easiest ways of doing it, each widget and put it into here, and then everything will pretty much be right. The good thing, as I mentioned about the customized templates, is that because you have the numbers here, you can really be very precise in how you're laying out your the widgets and the charts on screen. So that basically is the whole way of defining your template, and then you can just go back in, and as I say, you go back into Verb, and here we are with it there. One thing to point out, when you come to save this file, is that the when you come to save the template file, this one, when you go to file save, it may ask for a new file name. What that means is that file, and it generally will, only has read permissions, so it won't save as it is. So what you have to do to get around that is right click, is go down to properties, security, click on edit, click on users, and then just click on the full control, and that will give write access, so it won't be an issue. Click OK, OK, and then it'll work. Even if you're already editing the file, you can still do that and it will save it afterwards. And that basically is how you edit the default template file to get something up there that is relevant and does the job that you need it to. I hope it's been helpful. As I say, sort of one of the things with that is just to play about with the file and get the information up that you want. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.